those Max shows, you know, are hidden different. It follows two hockey players. One is with the Toronto team, and one is with the, I think, Boston team. And the one from that team is actually from Russia, and his father is still back in Russia, and his father is starting to get memory loss. I don't know if it's Alzheimer's or dementia, but it's something like that. His father's starting to get that, so he's dealing with that. And also, it's not exactly a safe place for gay people back home for him either, so he's dealing with all that, like, family issues, but he comes off as very, like, cocky and aggressive, and, like, nothing ever bothers him and whatever. And then his rival is Shane Hollander, who's kind of like the, like, good boy, like, squeaky clean. Sorry if my voice sounds a little weird. I'm recovering from a cold this week, but Shane Hollander is, like, his opposite. He's, like, squeaky clean and, like, super sweet, and, like, and he doesn't really get that Ilya might have, like, family drama back home, because, like, he has a great relationship with his parents, and Ilya never, like, opens up to him. But yeah, they meet because Shane introduces himself and is like, hey, I'm a big fan, and Ilya kind of gives him a hard time, and then they meet again when they're, like, competing against each other, and he kind of clocks Shane and starts a little something with him, and then they go back and forth, and every time they're in town playing each other against each other in games, they'll hook up, and in between they'll, like, text each other, like, before the game, like, hey, like, see you soon, or hey, have a good summer, or, like, stuff like that. Like, it's very, like just tension filled, because they only see each other, like, twice a year, or maybe, like, 2 or 3 times, because they have, like, award shows too, so maybe they see each other, like, 4 times a year or something. But so there's a lot of, like, tension built up, and Ilya is bisexual and Shane is gay, and it's just really good. I just watched episode 4 last night, and I'm gagged when they played the all the things she said, running through my head, in the club. So good with the lights, the flashing lights, and they were trying to make each other jealous because they always called each other their last names, and then the last time they hooked up, they called each other their first names for the first time. And then Ilya kind of threw Shane because he asked him if he liked girls and started telling him about girls he'd been with, and I think it kind of freaked Shane out. So now they're kind of like, you know, and so they saw each other in the club in the latest episode, and we're, like, trying to make each other jealous, and it's just so good. Can't recommend it enough. So yeah, that's my latest obsession, and I'm watching, like, all the edits for it on Instagram. But yeah, that's Heated Rivalry. I watched Culpa Mya 3, which was Culpa Neustra, how do you say that? Whatever the translation for our fault is in Spanish. So this was the third My Fault movie, and it was okay. It wasn't great, to be honest. Nick was getting on my nerves. He needed to let shit go. Okay, and then the storyline got crazy. Like, it was so Wattpad-esque. It was these crazy high stakes, and we didn't really get to see them together much in that movie, so it was just whatever. Not as good as the first one, and the second one wasn't as good as the first one either. But I hope that for the My Fault London movies that they'll do a better job with the second and third, because for the original, I didn't like the second and third. I mean, I liked parts of it, but I thought it was pretty bad overall. I also watched Nobody Wants This Season 2, which is that show about a rabbi in season 1 he seemed okay with that, and then in season 2 all of a sudden it was a big thing, and that was the whole thing. Like the whole season was like, oh, like he wanted her to convert to his religion, and I was just like, what? Like I thought in season 1 he already said it was okay if she didn't. So I really didn't like the storyline at all, and I thought the characters were just being immature, and it was boring, it was repetitive, and I didn't like how much he was like trying to force her to convert. I was like, what is this? Like I thought in season 1 he was like understanding that she wasn't just gonna, you know, do something just because it's what he chose, but now he was like trying to force her in season 2, and I didn't like that. Did not like that. And then movie-wise, I watched Heretic, which again has to do with religion. It follows these 2 Mormon girls who are doing their like missions and like going door to door trying to convert people, and then they arrive at the door of this man who lets them in and starts like debating them, and then he like brings them further to his house, and he has like a whole maze set up at his house that they're like trying to find a way to escape, and it gets really crazy and really spooky and really scary, and I thought this was good. There's so many different interpretations of the different discussions and the different events that happen in this movie, and I just found it so interesting. Like as soon as I finished it, I got onto Reddit to see what people were thinking the ending meant, and of course everyone thought it meant something different than what I thought it meant, and then I was texting my friend who recommended the movie to me like a while back when we were talking about like religions and different like theologies and just like morality and just different stuff. And so I was texting my friend like comparing what we thought, and I was looking at Reddit to see what other people interpreted things as, and yeah, I just thought it was really interesting. It was scary though, like it was really scary, but it was interesting. I also watched Midsommer, which is that movie with Florence Pugh, and here's the thing, I love Florence Pugh. I think she's a phenomenal actor, but I don't like a lot of the movies she's in. Like, what was that other one I didn't really like? The one with Andrew Garfield. Again, I love Andrew Garfield. I think he's a phenomenal actor as well, and they both seem like such cool people. Was it We Live in a Time? Yeah, We Live in a Time, but I didn't really like that movie. It was like sad and anticlimactic, and I just didn't like it. And then with Midsommer, like, again, she's a fantastic actress, but man, that movie was so disturbing. Like, and I think what made it so disturbing was that it was like bright light, and so all the horrors were like blindingly bright and like in your face, whereas usually in like horror movies there's like the dark spooky lighting that kind of prepares you and sets you up for something grim and dark you're about to see. But in Midsommer it was all so bright because it takes place in like Norway or something, and in the summertime where there's only like a couple hours of dark. And it follows this cult. This girl who's become orphaned and lost her sister goes with her boyfriend and her boyfriend's friends to her boyfriend's friend's hometown, and there's a cult there doing this Midsommer celebration and doing some really wacky stuff with it. So yeah, it was so disturbing though. I was like, oh my gosh, so disturbing. Not for me. It also makes me wonder, like, people who are from the area that the movie takes place in, like, I wonder how those people feel. Like, if you're from that area, let me know. Like, were people offended, or were they like, oh, it's cool that, like stories are being written, or like also watched Sideline, Intercepted, which is again another Wattpad adaptation that is based off the book The Quarterback and Me. I watched the first movie last year. I think it came out around this time, and the second movie came out like a month or so ago, and it was great. The first movie was great. The second movie was great too. The chemistry between the two leads was great. The problems felt pretty realistic, and yeah, it was just a great like coming of age, going to college and seeing if their relationship could last type movie, touching on the importance of, you know, following your own dreams and what that means for relationships. And yeah, I thought it was really great. They have great chemistry, and yeah, I really enjoyed. And last movie I watched was A Very Jonas Christmas movie. I watched this when I was visiting my family at Thanksgiving, and it was fun to see. The Jonas Brothers are kind of like popular again and back again right now, and I love that. I did see Nick Jonas in concert back in college. He came to my school for our spring festival, and he was great in concert, and I listened to his music and the Jonas Brothers music when I was younger, so I love seeing the videos on Instagram now of like the band being back together, and it was fun to see them making jokes and playing personas in the movie. So yeah, I enjoyed. And show-wise, I also finished Only Murders in the Building, the latest season. I feel like I wasn't paying attention as much for this season though, so I feel like I wasn't like as interested. But they had what's his face from Percy Jackson the movie, Logan Lerman or something. So it was cool to see him again, and Selena always, and the older guys. So yeah, it was good, but not super memorable. I would say like those first like 2 seasons I feel like were really memorable, and now it's like fun, but it's not like as like, oh my gosh, you know. And then last but not least, I also finished Deathnote, the anime. I thought I had talked about this already, but I looked at the timestamps in my last video to try to not repeat myself, and I didn't see a timestamp for that, so who knows, apologies if I'm, you know, repeating myself. But I liked this. It was crazy because like at certain points you root for Light even though he's so insane, and at certain points you root for L even though he's morally and not the best either, to be honest. Like when he was like basically torturing Light's girlfriend, like that was not it. But yeah, it was so interesting because there's at points where you root for different ones of them even though like they're not morally great, and they're like falling into insanity a little bit or a lot. And yeah, Light went into such a villain arc by the end, honestly, from the beginning, the first time when Al had somebody else pretend to be him, and Light went to write his name immediately because he thought, how dare he question me. That was the first time where it was like, alright, Light's already gone, because he already is like killing an innocent person just because they dared to question him. So honestly, he was like gone from the start. And yeah, he started out saying like, oh, I'm gonna make the world a better place, but he was playing like judge, jury, executioner. Like he was making assumptions and thinking that he should be a god, and you know, like he wasn't supposed to have all that power, and he wasn't objectively good just because he thought that it, you know, his way or the highway. He was like, oh, I'm only doing this to this, so it makes it okay. But in reality, we saw that wasn't even true when he went after the guy who pretended to be Light and other people later on. So I don't know, I found it fascinating. I did think the show was so much more boring once Al exited, like those last like 10 episodes or whatever. I struggled he would feel a little more camaraderie with Light after he spent all that time with him. But no, he kind of just saw him as something to pass the time with, and that made me really sad in the end too. Because I was like, after all that time, like, I met their villains, but still I thought they would have some like camaraderie with each other or mean something after all that time. But no. So yeah, that was my thoughts. But yeah, overall I did enjoy it. I think I'm gonna do Jujutsu Kaisen next. But let me know if you have a different anime you think I would like. I did like the morality questions in Deathnote, as well as the